Friday Night SmackDown began the unofficial start of the Triple H era, the unofficial start of the new era for WWE in 2025. You saw last night on SmackDown some subtle changes, maybe not so subtle to some. Subtle change with the ring mat going from white to blue on Friday Night SmackDown. Now fans are wondering what type of changes will we see come Monday, January 6th, when Monday Night Raw debuts on Netflix. If you are a fan of the UFC and familiar with the UFC format, within the Octagon, it looks very busy. Monday Night Raw may be going for a similar look inside the squared circle. I got the latest on what changes WWE might be doing for Monday nights, and I got visuals on how that might look come January 6th. Also, Friday Night SmackDown may be giving more opportunities to lesser-known talent now that they've expanded from 2 to 3 hours. I got the latest on Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank cash-in from last night, backstage reaction to how that all went down. And WWE reportedly is moving the Royal Rumble to Saudi Arabia in 2026. I don't know how fans are going to be reacting to that, but this guy right here is not a fan of that move whatsoever. I got the latest, plus all the news this weekend right here on Off the Script. And we will start with the WWE changes we could potentially be seeing on Monday Night Raw, January 6th. SmackDown got a new ring mat. They went from white to blue. Some people liked it. Some people didn't like it. I didn't really care for it, but it wasn't going to be something that bothered me like anything else that bothers me that I don't like. I didn't really think it was that bad of an idea. But I did say last night on Friday Night SmackDown that subtlety is key. The more subtle direction you go, the better. It was definitely not a subtle move. It definitely felt like WWE rolled out a carpet for a talking segment and forgot to take the carpet out of the ring. And it's not something that we're used to seeing throughout a 3-hour program. WWE's never done that before, and they're looking to differentiate the shows from Friday going on into Monday, Monday going on into Friday. My thing is, if WWE wanted to make changes to their visuals, they should have done it in a more subtle way. What I said last night is WWE, instead of doing the blue ring mats, maybe we do a white rope, a blue rope, and then a white rope, and maybe the apron with some blue trim and a black apron with the SmackDown logo being that black and blue go nice together. WWE said, fuck that. We got the LED screens. We're just going to lay out a blue mat, and we're going to go and just go all the way with the blue because it's Friday Night SmackDown. I think that they should have went with a more subtle direction, and now fans are wondering if that's going to be the same thing on Monday Night Raw. I don't think that we're going to get a complete red ring on Monday. I think red is obviously a more dominant color visually than blue is. I don't want to see them wrestling in a red mat for 3 hours on Monday night. But WWE could be going for something like this. As you see there, this was revealed on social media. And in the afternoon ahead of SmackDown, there was a black ring mat out in the ring. It featured various logos, as you see there, including a Fortnite logo where Prime's logo used to be. In the two corners, we got Riyadh Season. In the other two corners, we got Real American Beer, which is a Hulk Hogan product. In addition, there were two cricket logos and a single Netflix and Snicker logos. Now, nobody can confirm that this will be used for Monday Night Raw, but it was definitely something that fans are pointing out could be the way WWE does things on Monday night. TKO now has WWE and UFC under the same umbrella. I think everybody with a logical brain knows that when Endeavor bought WWE from Vince McMahon, they own 51% of the company. They are going to do whatever it takes to maximize the WWE profit no matter what. And this was a talking point from the very early stages, from salaries to the on-screen performers and what WWE is going to look like visually once TKO Endeavor gets their claws into the WWE product. That visual should not be surprising to anybody watching the WWE product. Do I like it? No, I think it looks disgusting. But WWE is going to go and make their money. Just like how the rumor is that Royal Rumble is going to be moving to Saudi Arabia in 2026. Do I like it? Fuck no, I don't like it. But WWE is going to go and make their money. I think it's a little too busy. Subtlety is very important. But WWE is going to go and do what they feel is best for their business. I can't really sit here and tell you I like it. I know you guys probably don't like it, but it's something that we're going to have to get used to. Do I want to see it every fucking week? No, I would save it for their bigger shows. In fact, like I said, with the subtlety that WWE goes out there and does, normally what they do, especially at WrestleMania, it was very apparent. You have different sponsors sponsoring a specific match, and then you have that brand's logo on the ring apron, on the LED ring posts, around the crowd and ringside area on the LED boards that operate as the barricades. That's okay. I don't want to see logos like that in the picture that I just showed you for 3 hours in the ring, on the turnbuckles, on the steel posts, around ringside. It becomes a little too in your face, and it honestly detracts away from what's going on in the ring, in my honest opinion. But again, it's something that we're going to have to get used to. There's no real reason to cry, bitch, and complain about it. I think everybody kind of knew this was where they were going. So expect to see something like that on WWE television. Maybe what they were doing with this picture that I showed you and the mat that was on SmackDown, maybe they wanted to see how it would come off on camera. Maybe they're getting ready to do something like that on Monday. Again, nothing is confirmed, but this was floating around on social media. And if we do see it, I don't think anybody should really be surprised in the direction that WWE is going. SmackDown apparently is going to be giving more time to stars that aren't on the show on a regular basis. Now, this is coming from Dr. Chris Featherstone of Sportskeeda, who's broken stories in the past, and he reported yesterday before Friday Night SmackDown that there will be a major focus on SmackDown talents moving forward, and talents that will be showcased will be underutilized talents on the program. Also, Blair Davenport was named, and her name was being discussed for more television time and will be off and running with the new 3-hour format. Now, Davenport, in her case, has been called up to the main roster last year for Friday Night SmackDown. She hasn't had much television time whatsoever. Her last match was in late November, losing a United States Women's Championship tournament match, triple threat, to Chelsea Green. Apollo Crews, we saw last night. He's been on the show sporadically here and there. Los Garza is now involved with Pretty Deadly, who we've also seen weekly for the last several weeks in the tag team division. DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits, all featured prominently on television, getting all those other tag teams involved. WWE is going to need to open up their line of creativity, being that the show is being moved from 2 hours to 3 hours now. So, yes, it certainly opens up for more talent to be used, for that talent to get in the ring and wrestle a little bit more and earn the respect and the investment from the fan base. This is why I loved 2016 SmackDown. I don't expect WWE to go and do the same thing that we saw in 2016 with Friday Night SmackDown. 2016 SmackDown from September on was fucking great. They put on great television. It was almost NXT Black and Gold-esque. And a lot of that talent was underutilized talent. A lot of that talent wasn't really featured prominently. And a lot of that talent was, upstarts from NXT mixed with some veterans on the roster. You had Dolph Ziggler and The Miz and AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose at the time, kind of centered as the main talents on that show, with everybody else kind of being up-and-coming stars, the future of the company. And Ryan Ward, who used to book the show with Road Dogg, really made it feel better than a 3-hour Raw for a 2-hour SmackDown, because that is exactly what was going on in NXT. And Ryan Ward was the man behind NXT, or one of the lead writers for NXT. And then when Vince saw what was going on, and then when Vince saw the crowd reaction, the fan reaction online to it, he pulled that shit back, and SmackDown was ultimately killed when we got into 2017. Jinder Mahal. As soon as Jinder won the championship, goodbye, the show was dead. But Monday night got all the big stars. SmackDown did not. So I could see it being similar to that. And if it is that case, if it is similar to that, SmackDown may be more must-see on most weeks than Monday Night Raw. So I love it. I think it's going to be a great idea if they actually follow through with it, give those stars, those underutilized talents, some story, some time to get that emotional investment from the fan base. I think that's a great idea. I hope they follow through with it, and I'd love to see them do that. Tiffany Stratton. She cashed in, finally, last night against Nia Jax in what I thought was a very good cash, and I thought it was great. Finally got it. A little bit too long to get there. Long-winded. Tease after tease after tease after tease, but it finally got done. Stratton held the briefcase for over 153 days. Nia Jax won the championship at SummerSlam, beating Bayley after interference from Tiffany Stratton. WWE played up the story that Tiffany Stratton befriended Nia Jax, but over time was obviously eyeing the championship, and Nia wasn't really doing anything to keep that friendship alive, as she was bullying, per se, Tiffany Stratton and treating her like trash. So karma came back to Nia Jax, and karma ended up being a bitch in the form of Tiffany Stratton. Nia Jax retained the Women's Championship on Friday night over Naomi in what I thought was a great match. After the match, a brawl broke out between Jax, Bianca Belair, and Candice LeRae, leading to Tiffany Stratton running out with her Money in the Bank briefcase. Stratton cashed in before hitting Jax with her moonsault finisher off the top rope to win the championship. PW Insider reports the cash-in and title change was planned for weeks and was a closely guarded secret. The report noted it was not known amongst many that the title change was coming. The decision was planned for the SmackDown expansion, specifically to have a big moment for the USA Network, the series, and Tiffany Stratton. I posted on social media early in the day on Friday, 8 hours before Friday Night SmackDown, that if they want to go off with a bang on Friday night, because we don't really have any answers to this transfer window or who's coming to SmackDown from Raw or who's being called up from NXT to fit onto the SmackDown roster and onto the Raw roster. They basically were going into a 3-hour show with majority of their roster being the same as it has been. We saw Drew McIntyre last night, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. So you see what talents are coming over to Friday Night SmackDown from Monday Night Raw, being that those three men that I just mentioned are Raw superstars. There was a rumor also that American Made was going to be over on SmackDown. We didn't see them last night, but changes are obviously coming with the transfer window. I said if they don't give us any new talent and a different roster, if they wanted to go into Friday night last night, I would have Tiffany Stratton cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase and become the new champion and give that show a moment to start the new era, or the unofficial start for the new era. They did exactly that, so I'm glad to see that my thought process came to fruition. I think everybody's happy that she finally cashed it in and that Nia Jax is no longer the women's champion. So Tiffany Stratton is going to be the women's champion going into WrestleMania. Cue Charlotte Flair. That's the rumor in the community right now, that it will be Tiffany Stratton defending that women's championship against a returning android in Charlotte Flair, which should be a great match and should be a passing of the torch moment for Miss Tiffany Stratton from Charlotte Flair. Original plans for the Open on Friday Night SmackDown last night. Now, Cody started the show. WWE had Cody start the show. He was interrupted by Drew McIntyre, who cut a promo about how Cody Rhodes was about to make the biggest mistake of his career, and McIntyre offered to help. Rhodes wasn't interested, so he challenged him to a match that night, only for McIntyre to decline. That will be coming in 2025. He says he didn't want to hurt Rhodes, but Rhodes should watch his back. Owens attacked Rhodes from behind, leading to a brawl as they continue to build to the Royal Rumble and their Undisputed Championship match, which will be contested in a ladder match at the Royal Rumble. They were both separated. This segment ended. PW Insider reports that there were a lot of late revisions to the opening segment, as originally the plan was for the segment to be with an opening Owens promo that would see McIntyre and Rhodes get involved. The report noted that there was a lot of bouncing back and forth on what would be best for everybody involved creatively, and they landed on the version that played out on Friday night. The segment last night did a lot of good. First of all, obviously, it sold the Royal Rumble match, the ladder match between Rhodes and Owens. Great. What it also did is give you the perception that McIntyre is going to be squarely involved on Friday Night SmackDown, not only with Cody and Kevin Owens, but obviously that's where the bloodline resides, Roman's bloodline, and he is targeting all of the bloodline. What it also does is open up the story for two other aspects that people might not be thinking about. Clearly, Drew McIntyre is going after Roman Reigns and everybody that has been a part of the bloodline and helping Roman. Cody has also helped Roman. So I do feel that is eventually going to come back to haunt Cody Rhodes. I do see that taking place this year, McIntyre versus Rhodes. I would even go as far as to give Drew McIntyre this year's King of the Ring, where he gets number one contendership for the WWE Championship or whatever championship he chooses. That case, being on SmackDown, he gets Cody Rhodes. I would go that far and have him do that, and I would maybe do that match at SummerSlam. So I'm not really that far off with Drew McIntyre and what he deserves on Friday Night SmackDown. Secondly, what they also did here is subtly tease two things. One, an alliance between Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre just based off common interests. The other thing that they did is, if you remember, Kevin Owens cut a promo saying that nobody really reached out to him. And this was just a couple of weeks ago. Who reached out to him? Or Drew McIntyre, rather, cut a promo that he was out after Hell in a Cell. Who reached out to him? Nobody reached out to him in the locker room. Who reached out to him? Only one person he mentioned reached out to him. That one person was in that segment with him and Cody Rhodes on Friday Night SmackDown, and that person was Kevin Owens. So when Drew McIntyre cut this promo a couple of weeks ago, he mentioned that nobody but one person reached out to him. The only two people that I could logically think of that reached out to Drew McIntyre would be the one that we saw last night in Kevin Owens, or it was Dwayne. It was The Rock, and he may have a factor. He may come into play. Both of them, actually, McIntyre and Rock, may have something to do with the Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa Tribal Combat match on Monday Night Raw on Netflix. So WWE's weaving some storylines together, and I like where they're going, man. That opening segment did so much to open up where the thought process creatively is for Cody, McIntyre, and Kevin Owens, and then even include Roman, the Bloodline, and The Rock. So WWE clearly's got something going on there. I don't know where all of this leads into WrestleMania, but I would not be opposed to McIntyre having a major WrestleMania match this year. I know the rumor is Punk and Roman, Cody, and Cena as of right now. We don't really know what The Rock is going to be doing. I'll get to him in a second. But I would not be opposed if WWE wanted to give McIntyre a huge WrestleMania match, have him go one-on-one with Roman Reigns, and beat Roman Reigns in Las Vegas. Speaking of The Rock will be in Los Angeles on Sunday. He will be at the Golden Globes on Sunday in Beverly Hills, California. The show airs on CBS and streams live on Paramount+. The Rock is going to be in Los Angeles on Sunday. Why would not WWE give him a call and say, Dwayne, let's do some business on Monday? You think The Rock is not going to show up on Monday after being in the city already for a Sunday night Golden Globes award show? He is absolutely going to be on Monday Night Raw. He will be there on Netflix. What role will he have? We don't know, but he will be on Monday Night Raw. As you guys are looking at the Instagram post that Rock put on his official Instagram page, Moana 2 is nominated for Best Picture. Johnson voiced Maui in the animated film. Rock confirmed the news via an Instagram post where he wrote, "We chi hooin' all night this Sunday." I haven't watched the movie, so if I butchered that, I apologize. As always, I'll have fun presenting, but more importantly, having Moana 2 nominated for Best Picture is so special and humbling as it represents this global embrace for our Polynesian culture and people. As the character Maui and producer, this is a very cool and special night. We say it loud and we say it proud. He will be on Monday night, January 6th, as Raw debuts on Netflix. Absolutely no doubt about it. And like I've been saying for months, the final piece to the puzzle for WrestleMania season all revolves around The Rock. Once you know what he's doing, I want you to disregard the rumors right now. They could all be bullshit. Once you know what The Rock is doing, WrestleMania's card will slowly start to reveal itself. We won't know anything until January 6th. Royal Rumble. We'll end with this. This news made the rounds during Friday Night SmackDown last night, and the Royal Rumble is rumored to be going to Saudi Arabia in 2026 or 2026. That is currently the plan right now for WWE. PW Insider reported on Friday night that next year's Royal Rumble event is planned for Saudi Arabia. Fightful Select has learned that this is also the working plan. Those that we've spoken to claim that Riyadh is slated to be the host. The venue is to be determined. We're told that there have been site layouts being worked on for the possibility in recent months, says Fightful. And Fightful also reported earlier that WWE had new ring mats produced with Riyadh season logos on them, like I showed you before when we talked about the potential changes to Monday nights on January 6th. This is not confirmed by WWE. I want to throw that out there right now. Nothing is confirmed. WWE could have simply put this rumor out through PW Insider and through Fightful to gauge on how the fans are going to react. And from the reaction that I've personally seen online, not many people are going to be happy, and not many people are happy with the potential rumor of Royal Rumble taking place in 26 in Saudi Arabia. Now, the one thing that bothers me is the fact that this is only a precursor to what we will be getting eventually with the partnership with WWE in Saudi Arabia. If the Royal Rumble is going to end up taking place in Saudi Arabia in 2026, then I could absolutely see before we get to 2030, could happen in 27, could happen in 28. If the Royal Rumble is going to be in Saudi Arabia, then not too soon after that, WrestleMania will be in Saudi Arabia. And it's going to be something that, again, we all need to anticipate. Because when WWE is looking at that big of a sum of money, they never say no. So WWE will sadly sell out their two biggest shows in the single calendar year that they conduct over a 12-month period. And they will sell those events to Saudi Arabia over the next 3 to 5 years. I don't like that. I think that is terrible, terrible business. And they don't give a shit about the fans, first and foremost. Second thing is, this will give WWE an opportunity to potentially test out the rumor that Netflix is going to be okay with airing live feeds when the show goes live in Saudi Arabia. Meaning that when WWE does their overseas tours, instead of watching here in the States on a tape delay at 8 p.m., we'll get to see it live at 1 or 2 p.m. wherever they're emanating from. And in this case, normally, WWE events take place 8 p.m. Saudi Arabian time. We usually get the Saudi Arabia PLE starting at 1 p.m. So it'll be a 7-hour difference from what we normally see here in the States at 8 p.m. A 1 p.m. Monday Night Raw live from Riyadh on Netflix, not that bad of an idea. I could live with that as long as the show is live. But going to Saudi Arabia is going to create some problems, not only for the fans who watch here in the United States, but also it will hinder the television program, and it will hinder how much talent and who wants to or can travel to Saudi Arabia. SmackDown is obviously going to be taped before the Royal Rumble. Those are some big shows. Those are the go-home shows for your second biggest pay-per-view of the entire year. I don't really understand why anybody wants to watch fans want to watch a taped fucking show because they got to emanate from Saudi Arabia before the Royal Rumble. I hate that. I hate that. The less we could do that, the better. So that's going to be a problem for me. I hate tape shows, and they just don't come off as must-see, and WWE usually skimps on those shows, and they don't make them feel important. How are you going to get talent over there to compete in the Royal Rumble? And who is going to actually fly over there to compete in the Royal Rumble? Will this hinder WWE from calling up legends and just having that Royal Rumble come off as the unpredictable event that it is? Will it hinder WWE from using a whole pool of talent? How much of that will be lessened because the show is taking place in Saudi Arabia for whatever reason? Travel problems, logistically, people just don't want to travel over there to compete in a show because of their beliefs. How is this going to hinder the Royal Rumble? That's also a question that many people are asking. I'm also going to find it funny for all the fans who watch us content creators, how many people don't cover these Crown Jewel shows, the Super Showdown shows, the King and Queen of the Ring shows. How many of those people have stayed true to their beliefs to not cover any of these shows because of their beliefs? How many of them are going to turn over a dime and be hypocritical and cover the Royal Rumble because they don't want to miss out on a major PLE payday and they're going to have to cover it even though they didn't cover the other shows? That's what I'm going to be looking for. I've covered all these shows no matter what. I don't give a shit. It's my job to do so, and some big things have happened. Some big matches have happened on these shows, so I'm going to cover it. I want to see how many people that did not cover these Saudi shows in previous years cover it now in Saudi because it's the Royal Rumble. One thing we know for sure is that, A, we're going to get an earlier start time for the Royal Rumble, which is not that bad of an idea, not that bad of a thing for me and us content creators. The earlier, the better. Another thing that we probably are going to get is the likes of CM Punk not being in the Royal Rumble. I think we can pretty much confirm that CM Punk won't be a part of Royal Rumble festivities in 2026. What does that do to the festivities and every other event or activity surrounding the Royal Rumble? The Royal Rumble is the second biggest show of the year. Indie promotions fly in and have shows built around the Royal Rumble. There's events and Comic-Cons and fucking WrestleCons and all these different things that vendors and promotions do around a big WWE PLE like the Royal Rumble. Is that going to be taking place around the Royal Rumble if WWE takes the show and the event to Saudi Arabia? What about the women's Royal Rumble? For all we know, this could be the start of a 2-night Royal Rumble. Just want to throw that out there as well. WWE having this big thing, Saudi Arabia, Royal Rumble, 2-night Royal Rumble. I could see them doing that and starting that off that way with the Rumble, because we got that with WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Obviously, the Royal Rumble is soon to follow. What about the women? What about the women? Do you, as a fan, want to see 30 women dressed up fully head to toe and have that come off on television, man? From the eyes of the fans, the perception of the fans, it's not a good look. It's not. You know, I don't really want to see the Royal Rumble there for that. The aesthetics, the fucking crowd reaction is not going to be the same as if you do it here in front of 50,000 people in the United States. The crowd reactions there aren't the same compared to what we get here in the United States or the UK internationally. It's not. You know, they're fine for what they are, but you can't duplicate those types of reactions in Saudi Arabia, especially for the Royal Rumble. So I'm just looking at it from a fan's point of view, aesthetically looking at 30 women dressed from head to toe in the Royal Rumble, getting no reaction because the fucking fans over there, it's not their thing. There's so much bad that comes with it. I truly hope at the end of the day that this is WWE testing the waters and that they don't actually go ahead with these plans. That's what I hope for. So I don't know. This is a rumor right now. Nothing is confirmed. But right now, SAP and PW Insider are reporting it, so there's got to be some validity to these stories. And like I said, at the end of the day, I hope it's just let's throw this out there to see what fans think about it, and if there is overwhelming reaction, we'll scale it back. But I don't know anymore. I don't really know. I can't imagine how much WWE is getting for the rights to the Royal Rumble. Can't even imagine what they would be offered for the rights to WrestleMania. I hope it doesn't happen. I really don't. They got enough. They got a 10-year partnership. They got King and Queen of the Ring. They got Crown Jewel. We created a fucking belt for a show that specifically takes place there once a year, and the belt is not even defended. What more do they want? What more do they want? You're lucky you got what you got. Stop being greedy and stop asking for more. And WWE, who are we to say anything? They're going to run their business and conduct their business with the idea of maximizing their revenue as huge as humanly possible. But from a fan's perspective, it's okay to not like it. It's okay to not agree with it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. I hope it doesn't happen. Thank Thank you guys very much for all of your support. Let me know down in the comment section, because every comment helps us out in the algorithm. Let me know what you guys think of the Royal Rumble taking place in Saudi Arabia in 2026. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Do you see them doing a 2-night Royal Rumble, one for the women, one for the men in 2026 to go along with that announcement? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys have anything else to sound off on, anything from this video, leave me a comment down below. Helps us out tremendously. Hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes today on Off the Script. And next time you see me live will be January 6th, Monday Night Raw, Netflix debut. Can't wait to share it with all of you. It's going to be a big night for everybody. Can't wait to spend Monday night with you guys. If you missed any of the other content on the channel, everything you need is on the homepage. Dynamite, SmackDown, and everything else in between on the homepage. Go check that stuff out. And please make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206 on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Enjoy your weekends, guys. I will be back with more news if there is news. And next time you see me live will be on Monday, January 6th for Netflix.